Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, brothers and sisters, to the Deen team Friday night show, and with a special show dedicated to Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub, rahimahullah ta'ala. And ikhwani, wallahi, we are overwhelmed with the number of phone calls. We are overwhelmed with the response that we're receiving from this extremely generous community. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward everyone who's called up. Even we're receiving phone calls of just support. Subhanallah, just brothers and sisters who just want to call up and say Jazakumullah khair, keep up the great work, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be with the family, and you're more than welcome to do that. You don't have to donate a penny, just call up and say Jazakumullah khair, and we will pass on that message inshallah on at a later stage inshallah.
Throughout the week, it's subhanallah, it's a real funny thing that yes, there's been a death, and usually death is a sad thing, and everyone is sort of in, but wallahi, even the family is asking that for the joy and the happiness, because they're proud of what's taken place. And one of the most beautiful things that I've seen come out of this is Adra. I was at the mosque on Tuesday night. Was it, Rami?
I believe it was Tuesday night.
Right?
Yeah.
Subhanallah, I was there, and one of the most beautiful things that I haven't seen in a long time was seeing the faces from all over Sydney
Absolutely
come together. It really showed strength in the community. Everybody, every fikr, everyone put their differences aside, and they all came together for their one brother and to show support to that family. Wallahi, it was a beautiful feeling. So inshallah ta'ala, all of those listeners out there now today who are listening and you want to take part and you want to show your support, well, now you can. Now you can. And I know that a lot of brothers and sisters are probably thinking, look, the month of Ramadan really drained me out, and I don't have any more money, and whatever it is. This isn't about money, wallah al-azim. For me, this is about support. This is about showing the wife and the children of this very special person that look, the community is there, that we haven't forgotten you, that inshallah ta'ala we will be there with you inshallah. And you can play a role. You can pick up your phone and you can text your friends and say, hey, let's let's come together, let's put some money in, helping. Wallahi, I being there, Rami, and you were there at the mosque, what a beautiful feeling. Just seeing all of those brothers. The masjid was full, Ajra. The people were all the way to the back. In fact, there was people outside, and I seen people from all walks of life, but they were all there for the one. And wallahi, it was a very, very empowering feeling. Very empowering.
Nice. One thing that we should also mention, we refer to it as a death, but it's not really a death.
Ah, that's right.
Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا. Do not consider those who have been martyred in the path of Allah as dead.
Subhanallah.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says they are not dead, بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ يُرْزَقُونَ. They are alive, and they seek sustenance from their Lord. In another ayah, yes, they are alive, but you do not know, or you perceive not. Subhanallah. So we shouldn't consider our beloved Sheikh Mustafa as dead. He is alive and he's seeking sustenance with his Lord as we speak.
Subhanallah. I mean, imagine the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the man who received revelation, the man that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the highest status in Al-Firdaus al-A'la, the man who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the best of places. Listen to him saying sallallahu alayhi wasallam, لوددت والذي نفسي بيده لوددت أني قتلت في سبيل الله ثم أحيا ثم أموت ثم أقتل ثم أحيا ثم أموت. That I wish if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows me to die as a martyr in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I'll come back resurrected, then I'll die as a martyr, then I'll be resurrected, then I'll die as a martyr. SubhanAllah, the way that Sheikh Mustafa rahimahullah passed away was the wish of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Imagine how powerful that was.
Rami, can I just say that subhanallah, I just got a pledge in.
No.
Right? I just got a pledge in for $500. A brother wants to give it on behalf of the UMA.
Jazakallah.
So mashallah, this is subhanallah, this is the first pledge of the night. $500. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him. And please, brothers and sisters, we really want to start hearing and seeing those.
Subhanallah. And Ikhwani,
we'd like to see all of these pledges coming in.
We're not here to fundraise for building a mosque, and we're buying a center or a musalla. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all the brothers and sisters working on that. We're here to raise a Muslim family. We're here to support our brothers and sisters in Syria. We're here to support a whole community in Syria, the refugee camps in Turkey, which will be touching with base with Brother Muhammad Zod, the situation in Syria at the moment, which will be touching base with Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub. Ikhwani, tonight is your night. crying and getting emotional is something, but acting proactively and doing something positive is also something that we need to work on, inshallah.
You know, Rami, just touching on that hadith you mentioned before, there's another hadith that's very similar to that, in that the Prophet ﷺ said, the only inhabitants of Jannah who will ever ask to be returned on earth are the shuhada, the martyrs. So they could, after seeing the rewards and how the excellence and distinction that Allah gives them in paradise, they will the only ones that will wish to be returned back on earth so they can die again as shuhada and receive that reward again. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from the shuhada.
SubhanAllah, I just got $200 from another brother. Allahu Akbar.
SubhanAllah. Hablas, I feel like you're collecting charity here. Like, brothers, we don't want to hear the $100 mark. Let's step up a bit.
Rami.
Let's step up the game. I mean, like $100 and $200. I feel like we're inefficient chips. So yeah, ikhwani. Let's sort of step up a little bit. I mean, where's the $1,000 mark? And we'll go to Brother Muhammad Khidr, inshallah, and he's got something special for us tonight. And by the time we come back, we expect at least $5,000 to $10,000 being
another $200, Rami. I just got another $200. Look, please, wallahi, I can really appreciate what Brother Rami is saying, but every single dollar counts. Wallahi, every single dollar counts. Rasulullah sallallahu says, he says, save yourself from hellfire, even if it's with what, Rami?
Absolutely, half a day. There's no problem.
Half a day. Never ever belittle that good. So, mashallah, I'm up to $900 from my phone alone. This is how we roll, mashallah. Let's, inshallah ta'ala, let's keep it going.
Let's go to Brother Muhammad Khidr, and assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.
And how are you, akhi?
Alhamdulillah, bikhair.
كيف حالك إن شاء الله بخير.
Alhamdulillah.
جزاكم الله خير for participating in tonight's special edition and special program for Sheikh Mustafa, dedicated to Sheikh Mustafa rahimahullah ta'ala. And Akhi Muhammad, you're one of the brothers with a gift.
Jazakallah khair, Rami.
And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enlighten the hearts and the minds of so many people out there, including myself, with the gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. And you've got something special for us tonight.
Rami, I've selected a couple. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough time for them, but a couple of nasheed on kind of my favorite nasheed topic regarding the shuhada, Rami.
No. And let's begin with one, inshallah.
طيب, this is one that I guess it's named I guess يومها ماذا نقول as a chorus.
Yes.
I'll start it off inshallah. يوم تجث كل أمة في دياجر الملمة للسؤال عن المهمة هل أجبتم الرسول يوم يأتي الناس وفدا وعظيم القوم عبدا هل ظننتم فيها خلدا وبقاء لا يزول يومها ماذا نقول يوم لا ينفع مال أو خليل أو عيال كلهم شر وبال إلا من نال القبول يوم يخشى الناس نار ودخان ودمار وامتهان واحتقار فتطير له العقول يومها ماذا نقول يا شهيدا قد أنارا دربنا نورا ونارا للأعادي قد أغارا يقتفي نهج الرسول في جنان الخلد تزهى فهي للشهداء مأوى لذة أجر وقربى يوم أقدام تزول يومها ماذا نقول يوم رايتنا تنادي أين حي على الجهاد يوم صاح بها المنادي أينها العقول يوم نسأل عن كرامة عن ضعيف عن يتامى قوم ناخذ الحمامة فالشهيد له القبول يومها ماذا نقول يا شهيدا قد أنارا دربنا نورا ونارا للأعادي قد أغارا يقتفي نهج الرسول في جنان الخلد تزهى فهي للشهداء مأوى لذة أجر وقربى يوم أقدام تزول يومها ماذا نقول.
أخي محمد, جزاك الله خير. That was very well يعني I may use the word sang, يعني جزاك الله خير. Muhammad, can you share the translation of that with us?
Rami, this nasheed is it's a reflective nasheed about the shaheed and what he got up to and the responsibilities that rest upon our shoulders and the duty that the shaheed has fulfilled. Questions that will be asked on the Day of Judgment. For example, it's drawing a scenario where on the Day of Judgment where all of humanity is freaking out, right? And they've got a calamity on their hands.
No.
And they're going to be asked and questioned about a duty. Did you answer the call? Did you answer the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam? When the people, they come in groups, and even the greatest of people on earth will come as a slave, as a poor slave on the Day of Judgment, and they'll be asked, "Did you think that you were going to live on this earth forever? Did you think that you were going to stay here indefinitely?" And the question, the rhetorical question is, on that day, what will we say?
No.
The day when money does not benefit, when close friends and family don't benefit. In fact, they will be seen as a source of misery and a source of regret.
No.
Except those who have been accepted. When on the day when people fear the fire and they fear the destruction and they're facing humility, and a day when the people will be so scared that their minds will be flying out of their chests and their hearts and their minds. On that day, what will we say? On the day that our banners called,
No.
where is the call to jihad? When the call are called, where are the minds then? And when we see the situation overseas, where are the straight minds? Where are the people with insight? Where are the people with intellect and thought to see what is happening? When we're asked about the honor of the ummah, when we're asked about the weak and the orphan and the widows, and it's inciting, someone needs to defend these people. And the shaheed is the one who accepts these. And the shaheed is the one who answers the call, and he's the one who's accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the chorus is, Ya shaheed, who has lit our path with light and fire. He came out in force against the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the way of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is now enjoying and strolling
No.
in the Jannah that it lasts forever. And this Jannah is the abode of the Shuhada. That's where they belong. That's where they stay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're having a sweet taste and reward, and they're close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is their abode. This is their consequence. This is where they go to on a day when knees become weak and people are freaking out and scared. And on that day, for the rest of us, what will we say?
Subhanallah. Muhammad, I don't know what to say to you. You put goosebumps on my body, as I say. Imagining the Day of Judgment and knowing the reality of the Day of Judgment and knowing that we're going to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment is definitely what we should be thinking about day and night. And wallahi, when we understand the reality of this world and how short this life is, these matters would become so clear in our eyes. The issue of martyrdom, the issue of going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And just a quick update, Hublas, how's your SMSing going?
Wallahi, Rami, this is, subhanAllah, wallahi, I am overwhelmed. I've had since you've made your $1,000 statements,
Naam.
I've had one brother,
Yes.
and I'm speaking about my own personal phone. These are friends that are texting me. These
Yes.
aren't people who
We're going to, and then the brothers in the back as well, inshallah.
So I've had one brother send me a text. He said to me, donate $1,000.
No.
Omar Mosque has donated $1,000.
No.
This is the most amazing one. These are 3 young girls that I know personally, who they themselves are orphans. They also lost their father.
Subhanallah. Rahimahullah.
And they just sent me a text now. She said to me, Amma Muhammad, please, can you donate $50 for the kids? That's from us. It's a idea from us.
Allahu Akbar.
And these are young. Wallahi, this is the dearest $50 probably in the world right now for me. Wallahi, this is extremely emotional. Subhanallah, mashallah, the phones are going off. Brothers and sisters, please do not stop. Inshallah, brothers and sisters, if you would like to make a donation and you would like to say it over the air, but you don't want to say your name, you do have that option. Okay, so inshallah, if you want to make a donation but you don't want to say your name, that's 100% understandable. We inshallah ta'ala, we can cater for that, but inshallah just to encourage others. This is a sunnah also. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to encourage others to donate in front of people, so that inshallah maybe you can spark something in their hearts so that they may also give. So please, inshallah, do not Adra, what's the number?
9758 3399. I think everyone's got it memorized now, inshallah.
Except me, Adra. And I just ask you, inshallah ta'ala.
Habla, sorry to cut you off, brother, but Brother Muhammad Khidr was reciting or mentioning a few nice words there of Anashid, and he was talking about the horrors of the Day of Judgment, or some of the things that people will say on the Day of Judgment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us a very, very nice verse in the Quran. And He says to us, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, O you who believe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us, inshallah. He says, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, hal adullukum ala tijaratin tunjikum min adhabin alim. Should I not direct you, should I not guide you to a transaction that will save you from a painful torment or painful punishment? And you imagine you standing on the Day of Judgment, hellfire is there in front of you, and you got this like card in front of you which is going to save you from the hellfire. What is this card? What is this transaction that will save you from the hellfire? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, that you believe in Allah and His Messenger, and وَتُجَاهِدُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ بِأَمْوَالِكُمْ وَأَنفُسِكُمْ, that you struggle in the path of Allah with what? What did He mention first? بِأَمْوَالِكُمْ, with your wealth and with your lives. So just something that you do tonight could be that get out of hellfire card that you'll be holding on a Day of Judgment, inshallah.
Inshallah ta'ala.
So just again, the number again here, you can pledge through the radio station, 9758 3399. If you want to go online, islamicaid.org.au, and you can also transfer funds through the account we mentioned earlier, inshallah.
Inshallah.
SubhanAllah, we've got a very close personal friend of ours. We've got Sheikh Abu Adnan, and I've got him now on the phone, and he was also a very close friend of Sheikh Mustafa. So inshallah ta'ala, we'll have him on. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me?
Naam. Sheikh Abu Adnan.
Ahlan wa sahlan. How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah. Kayf al-hal?
Alhamdulillah. Wallahi, subhanallah, after listening to when you put me on hold to Sheikh Mustafa reciting the Quran,
Naam.
I remembered the good days in Ramadan. And subhanallah, today I was saying in the khutbah that this year Ramadan was never the same as every year, where Sheikh Mustafa rahmatullah alayh used to lead us in the Global Islamic Youth Center in Salat al-Tarawih with his soothing voice, rahimahullah. I can't explain.
MashaAllah. Sheikh, I would like to thank you, inshallah, for being on. I know that you have an extremely busy schedule, and mashallah, I've seen and I've noticed you've been extremely busy this week. Sheikh, it's no secret you were a very close friend towards the Sheikh. Inshallah, if you may, because believe it or not, a lot of people actually didn't know Sheikh Mustafa. So inshallah, if you can share some insight on on the Sheikh, his character, and how he was as a friend, if possible, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. I met Sheikh Mustafa in the early 2002, 2003 at the Global Islamic Youth Center, and at that time, rahimahullah, he used to come and pray and leave and then slowly, he got in even stronger and stronger into the Deen, and he pushed himself to be in the da'wah straight away. He pushed himself. You could see that this man, when you looked at his eyes, he had some zeal. He had some spark. Subhanallah, I meet a lot of brothers who are interested in the da'wah and they want to do da'wah, but you don't see the spark that this brother, rahmatullah alayh, this sheikh, had the spark. And I started to build a close relationship with him. And always when I see brothers who are, interested in the da'wah, I try to push them all the time. And he's one of the ones I pushed strongly to work and take leadership, especially given the background that he traveled to a few countries and he has the Arabic language. So he was already gifted and he was ahead of everyone else. And then, subhanallah, he came to my office once in the Global Islamic Youth Center. He said, where do I go from there? He was planning actually, rahmatullah alayh, to go to Mauritania to seek knowledge under the ulama and the mashayikh there. I encouraged him, but things did not go well. And then he said, I want to, which way? I directed him to some Islamic universities to study online. Alhamdulillah, he just nothing could hold this brother back. And he would always ring me for books and I'd exchange books and sit down and discuss masail ilm issues. And you'd find that it's like a dry sponge that it sucks everything around it with knowledge and ilm. And he tries hard and he always wanted to work in the da'wah. And I remember, subhanallah, once he came late to a khutbah, I said, Mustafa, it can't be like this. When you are in the da'wah, you have to be on time. You can't be not even 5 minutes late. And subhanallah, it's as if he took these words so serious that he's always, every time he has a lecture, every time he has a khutbah, every time he needs to lead the salat, he's there right on time, on the dot, and from there he never, with no fail, no matter what, he would never cancel, or he disappears, or he comes late. He's on time. So he was one of those people who took the deen really serious. He took the da'wah as serious as it can be. He never ever neglected the work of da'wah. Why I speak about the work of da'wah? Because that's my relationship with him, was based on da'wah, was based fi sabilillah. I had no business with Mustafa. I never dealt business with him. It was my relationship, just da'wah. We worked on a college in a Global Islamic Youth Center and in Lakemba, where I pushed him. And I remember, rahmatullah alayhi, he said to me, Abu Adnan, I'm not yet want to sit down and teach the people. I said, yeah, Mustafa, if you don't stand and teach the people, who then? Who are we going to leave it to? And then, subhanallah, took the position of teaching in Lakemba up on Holden Street, wal ala istihya, as they say, with shyness. He didn't want to, because he never believed that he can fill the shoes of someone to stand up and teach. But subhanallah, he sparked, he compiled notes, and I still have the notes that I was teaching tonight written by him, rahmatullah alayh. And when it comes to a personal relationship with such a person, subhanallah, the person who is, and now since he's dead, we can speak about it, we can do madah, we can praise him. The person who Allah blesses him with shahada, they have extraordinary sincerity and hard work. And person who does not have an extraordinary sincerity in his work and hard work, a lot of the time they don't get blessed in the shahada. And subhanallah, rahmatullah alayhi, yani, when it came to issues of the da'wah, he never used to put his personal views, his personal issues to stand between him and the da'wah. He would always, even at times when he was criticized or hit hard by some brothers, he would say to me, Abu Adnan, wallahi, I forgive everyone whatever says about me. I do not care. By the end of the day, I don't care about politics. I don't care about anything. I'm a da'i and I want to do da'wah.
MashaAllah.
And we kept on like this, working at a Global Islamic Youth Center, week in, week out, da'wah. And even if I disagree, me and him, wallahi, he is most of the times the first one to call me. And once I remember we had a big disagreement about something, and we both walked out upset. You have to know that me and Mustafa, we used to talk every day about 40 minutes on the phone. That is the norm. I'll be driving, he'll be driving. We'll be talking about, this is on a daily basis. Like, if 2 days, 3 days that we don't talk, that means there is something wrong. Either he's extremely busy or outside the country or something.
SubhanAllah.
This is how it used to be. At least 2-3 emails exchanged. That's how close we were, subhanAllah. And once we got a disagreement, to show you what type of person he is, And then, subhanallah, I saw him from far away and he saw me. What do you think the reaction was? That we hasted, we hugged each other and cried for no reason, and we never opened the subject again. Both of us forgot about it and we moved on. It's a clean heart that whatever you throw at him, he would take it. He might get emotional like everyone else, but I can assure you within the next day, he forgotten everything and everything goes on. And there's a trait you don't find in
it's
people.
It's a very rare quality, mashallah.
And just I know, because I know you told me that the psalmist side, yes, it is. He was forgiving, a smiling face, and he used to always forgive even the ones who wronged him. And one of the things that I liked about him, he never liked politics. And he liked just to concentrate on the da'wah. He used to say, I just want to be left alone to do da'wah, to help these brothers from the fire and put them in Jannah. I want them to see what I see. And always, he never used to like to put himself in a high status.
He knew where the rewards were, Sheikh.
He never wanted to push himself. And as you know, many people don't know him because he didn't want to push himself, even though he had the knowledge and the character and the good voice that could put him in the spear or in the forefront of da'wah, like many du'at, without mentioning names, you know, they probably don't have much knowledge, but they have the great voice, they have this character, They are in the forefront of da'wah. But Mustafa, rahmatullah alayh, he would not want to push himself. And he would say to me, I'm still a student of knowledge, I'm still learning, I just want to absorb as much as you can, and when it comes my way, alhamdulillah.
Allahu Akbar, what a beautiful example, Sheikh.
Wallah ya akhi. And what happened, and I probably you all remember the first uprising in the uprising that happened in Libya. The first shaheed was also my closer friend who was I was at Hajj when I received the news, Sheikh Nasser al-Zway. And you probably all know him, but he is very well known in the Arabic community, the Libyan Sheikh who was with us, and they have the center in Yeruk Road. Sheikh Nasser al-Zway, rahmatullah alayh, what he done, that he disappeared over one night and he popped up in Libya helping his own people, and then Allah blessed him with shahada just the day before the Taghut Muammar al-Qaddafi fell. So subhanallah, when I came back from Hajj and met Sheikh Mustafa rahmatullah alayh, he said to me, what a man is Sheikh Nasser al-Zway. I really look up to this man. I really think that this is the role of every Muslim today. And that's exactly what he done. He waited for the right moment when we're in Syria, and he came to me and said, Ya Abu Adnan, I had enough. I need to go. I said, Ya Akhi, your family, this. He said, Abu Adnan, I need to go. I need to help my people. I know where I need to be. I can't be here. What am I doing that others can't? Yani here, we're giving lecture. Alhamdulillah, many brothers are giving lectures. Teaching in college, you can teach. What are the work that here that I am doing that is superior, that no one can do? But I know if I go there, I can influence a lot of people and I can do something better than here.
Sheikh, just on that, if I can quickly ask you, because I really want to ask you this question. And in our community, I don't know if you want to say unfortunately or fortunately, but they're a very emotional community. And sometimes we are driven or led by our emotions. In our religion, we should be led by the Deen. And we are Muslims, we submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not submit to our emotions. If in light of what's happened, and obviously the community is very emotional about what's happened, but from an Islamic perspective, if we truly love Sheikh Mustafa and we want to uphold the cause which he died for, what should be the reaction of the community? If we want to fulfill our obligation and fulfill the obligation to his family as well, what should be our reaction?
Akhi, our reaction, this is what if you want to, the point here, Akhi, that Sheikh Mustafa rahmatullah alayh, what he did for an ummah, for Islam, for upholding the deen of Islam. He didn't do to save Syria. It's not a nationalistic issue for him, rahmatullah alayh. It is to uphold the deen and give the people justice who deserve the justice. Our role is, Sheikh Mustafa is an example for us. We need to support the uprisings who are calling to bring back Islam and bring back the deen and bring back the justice in every means that is to us possible. And also, as you said previously, we need to support, for example, as in the case of Mustafa rahmatullah alayh and others. As the Prophet ﷺ said, من خلف غازيا في أهله بخير فقد غزا أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Whomever support a family of a ghazi, of one who goes up fi sabilillah as if he done it himself. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows each one of us what he is capable of. And if it is money, then it is money. It is for the people who need it in Syria or for the family. But at the moment, the radio show, inshallah, is to collect for his family so they can have some support. So I tell the brothers, if you have the money to support, you want to support, go ahead, bi'ithnillah, and support the families. Support the families and show everyone that we are one community that is able to support one another at the time of need and when we need to. And alhamdulillah, I am so prideful of our community so far that yes, we are emotional, but they are channeling the emotions bi'ithnillah correctly by supporting their families, they are supporting this great cause in Syria and other places where they need the support and they need the wealth of the Muslims. Now.
MashaAllah, Sheikh. Jazakallah khairan for sharing your time with us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. And inshallah, I have no doubt that inshallah, bidnillah, we'll be hearing from you soon, inshallah ta'ala.
Allah is dhikr khair.
Okay, Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Just on that, Hoblos, we've just got for the brothers and sisters who actually want to support the actual family of Sheikh Mustafa, we've actually got the account details for his personal family account. If they want to deposit directly to the account, the bank account is a Westpac account, and I'll just give you the details. The account name is Mustafa Majzoub, and the BSB is 732361. That's 732361, and the account number is 735436. That's 735436, and that's if you want to directly aid the family of Sheikh Mustafa. And as the Sheikh mentioned, he who supports the dependents of one who has gone in the path of Allah, it's as if he has participated himself.
You know what, subhanAllah, most of the texts and most of the pledges I'm getting, right, most of them seem to be wanting to go directly to the family of the Sheikh. So mashallah, Rami, we've just had a very, very, very big pledge.
I could safely say I just had that.
Oh, bragging rights. Naam, Rami.
No one's bragging, subhanAllah. Now, I just want to thank this brother dearly, and I'm sure he would like to remain anonymous, but wallahi, just for the sake of encouraging other brothers and sisters, business owners, owners of companies, and that's the mark that I would like us to head towards. Inshallah, we're reading the list of a lot of the contributors, Jazahumullah khair, and forgive me, brothers and sisters, earlier I was pushing towards the thousands of dollars, hoping that we could hit that, inshallah, but from what I could say, a few $100s definitely do add up on top of each other. However, I just want to thank Brother Amir Yassin from Lakimba Travel, Jazallah Khair, for donating $5,000 towards the family of Sheikh Mustafa Rahimahullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakallah Khair, Akhi Amir, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you. And all the brothers and sisters who were continuing to receive their calls on a minute-to-minute basis.
SubhanAllah, he's put in a beautiful pledge, but I also like the statement that he made there, Rami.
Yes, Jazakallah Khair for Rumani. He had that Sheikh Mustafa has definitely raised the benchmark for us on what a benchmark to reach. SubhanAllah, and that's definitely something to consider. As we heard from the father, from Hajj Abu Wa'il and Sheikh Abu Wa'il, Jazallah Khair, the benchmark is definitely up there, Ikhwan.
Well, look, now the benchmark is $5,000. So inshallah ta'ala, we would like to see if someone can inshallah top the $5,000. And Ajra, please, if you can inshallah repeat those. If you can inshallah repeat those details, because most of the texts I'm getting seem to want to go directly towards the family.
So if you would like to donate directly to the family, the BSB is 732361. And the account number is 735436. It's a Westpac account, and the account name is Mustafa Majzoub.
MashaAllah. Mezin.
Yes, naam.
I can see that you've been pretty busy as well.
Yep, I've been getting the list from Salim just to give an update on the kinds of pledges we've been getting in, inshallah. The first person actually to have called in, subhanAllah, my mother-in-law, Sonia Hamdoush. She was the first one, inshallah, $100 pledged to the cause. And different groups, UDE group, I think it is, for $2,000, mashallah. We've got a stack of anonymous people, 200, 100. Brother Salim for 100, Fadirad for 200, anonymous 1,000, Anonymous 200, and Anonymous 500, mashallah.
Jazakallah khair. And
they're coming in. I'm feeling sorry for Salim. He looks like he's sweating in the phone room over there. But mashallah, inshallah, he'll get rewarded for his efforts as well.
inshallah, subhanallah, ikhwani, wallahi, every cent, every dollar, and every penny that you donate, that you pledge tonight, yani, wallahi, it goes a very long way. May it be for the brothers and sisters in Syria, or may it be to the family of Sheikh Mustafa rahimahullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And ikhwani, we as a community, we need to stand united on this issue, as we always do on important issues. We just want to share a particular clip that tells us a bit more about Sheikh Mustafa Abdul Hamid. A clip that was, and I really want to thank the brothers and sisters from the Y Factor show, Jazakumullah khair, for allowing us to share this with the community, inshallah. A clip that was part of an interview that Sheikh Mustafa, Jazakallah khair, and rahimahullah ta'ala, undertook a while back. And it gives us an insight into the mentality of Sheikh Mustafa.
Being a Muslim is about being positive to the utmost. So being a practicing Muslim, it means to be positive. If you were to look at Islam in its different aspects, you find it's all about empowering the individual, to give him direction in life, and to set him in a direction where he knows that no matter what happens, he's still got hope, and that he's got a chance until he has his last breath. Therefore, since our breaths are numbered, we've got to make sure that they are spent in the right way. And every breath is taken in a way that only makes us grow and come closer to our Lord, and to be people who contribute in a society, who spread a message that truly everyone needs to know the reality of it, because truly it comes with solutions in all aspects, and specifically here we're talking about being positive. And one thing that I want to share, and forgive me, I really get passionate about talking about this stuff. Subhanallah, Allah Azza wa Jal, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, if the hour occurs while there is in the hand of one of you a small plant, let him plant it. You might ask the question, what's the reason behind that? I'll tell you, because your duty is to work until the last second.
Subhanallah.
And for you is to do, and upon Allah Azza wa Jal is the results. But it's about leading hearts to grow.
Yeah.
It's about causing minds to overcome obstacles, to see hope in the midst of darkness, to be that person who's just simply inspired. That is what a leader is. A leader is someone who can give that positive impression and look and be a source for the power for others around him. And I'll tell you one thing, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the best of leaders. And I say this bluntly and openly, and I don't feel shy about this. And I don't say this with a hype, but I say it with believe in it. Why? Because he was a man who did not lead bodies, but led hearts and mind to be the best of people, even in the midst of hardships. And this is what makes him so special until this day. And we say, alhamdulillah, that we have such a role model that we can follow, and we can take him as an example. There's not a belief that Islam teaches except that it's there to empower you. All beliefs that Islam comes with is to purify your heart and your mind from all that which is impure, and also to give you the strength to be someone who can continue a journey that its end is with Allah Azza wa Jal. I like something that, subhanAllah, I like one of the beautiful examples from the prophets. And I recall this was the Prophet Hud, when he was someone who turned to Allah Azza wa Jal, and he put his trust in Allah Azza wa Jal, and he made his dua. It didn't matter anymore how many enemies he had. It didn't matter anymore where he was. He told his enemies who are in dislike for him and they want to hurt him, he tells them bluntly and straight up, فَكِيدُونِي جَمِيعًا ثُمَّ لَا تُنظِرُونَ. Plot against me, all of you, and don't give me any time. إِنِّي تَوَكَّلْتُ عَلَى اللَّهِ رَبِّي وَرَبُّكُمْ. I have put my trust in my Lord and your Lord. At the end of the day, you cannot hurt me. You cannot do nothing. You cannot even affect me with nothing if it wasn't for my Lord allowing it. And just take into consideration that my Lord will not allow it except to increase me in status. And as one of them said, when you find yourself going down and down because of the pressure that you are faced with, and because of the many who just don't want to bring you up, We have people like that. You always got people who just want to destroy, and they don't want to see a flourishing nation. You know, they don't like seeing it at times. You know, unfortunately. But I'll tell you one thing. I like what was said. He said, when they push you down, remember the best place to go is all the way down in prostration to Allah Azza wa Jal. Ask Him and come back up, because they won't bring you down.
Welcome back to the Deen Show, Ikhwani, on Friday night. And subhanAllah, Abdul Hamid, I know that you're the type of, you're involved in all this new age stuff and personal development and thinking positive and all that kind of jargon, if I may use the word.
All that jazz, as you say. Right?
All that jazz. I know you're not involved in that. SubhanAllah, Abdul Hamid, what would you think, SubhanAllah? I mean, here we have a sheikh who's, you know, like stuck in between kutub al-fiqh, the books of fiqh, aqidah, Quran, tafsir, etc. But then again, it really goes to show what kind of mentality Sheikh Mustafa rahimahullah had.
You know what, he just listening to that, you know what I felt he was really in touch with the community. Just like, you know, the words of inspiration. And sometimes, you know, you have a mashaykh, mashallah, they're very scholarly, but they can't connect with the people. Man, that was very inspirational. What I liked, one of the hadiths he mentioned, which really touched me, was the one where he mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ said, if you have a seed in your hand and you notice that the day of judgment is like this, the day of judgment is occurring, it's there in front of you, plant that seed. Plant that seed. For you is to plant the seed, and for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to the results is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I know, I find, and subhanAllah, just those words of inspiration really like push me, and just he's left behind a legacy around me.
Absolutely. Rahimahullah, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept his shahada, martyrdom. Let's go to the operational room, and I feel like Brother Mazen has been busy, extremely busy actually. It's the busiest I've ever seen him in my life. Mazen, what's the latest?
Well, mashallah, the like you said, the phones are off the hook. We've been getting, you know, ever since that benchmark comment, the brothers from the UDE group have called back and have changed their pledge from 2,000 to 6,000. So the benchmark is up now. So inshallah, may Allah reward them. We've been getting a lot of pledges. We've also from brother Nabil Ismail on behalf of his daughter to donate, inshallah. And I think we just want to make clarity about the different accounts that are floating around. I think in order to avoid any confusion and to also honor the wishes of the family, I think what we want to do is encourage people to donate to the Syrian cause, because the father made very clear on Tuesday night at the Kemba Mosque that any money they get, they're pretty much going to be sending that way anyway, and it was their wishes that all money goes to the Syrian effort. So I think obviously, you know, it's up to you, it's up to the callers that call in and pledge however they want, but ultimately a lot of, you know, the majority of that money is going to go to the Syrian cause. So in order to avoid any confusion, let's you know, we'll stick to the Syrian side of things.
Okay, well, Mazen, yani, just so that you don't get too carried away, of course. Subhanallah, I had a very close friend of mine, and he just gave me a call, and he said to me, subhanallah, that Sheikh Mustafa was his customer. Right?
Okay.
So Sheikh Mustafa was the customer
of this person. And he came in and he signed up for something, so he was his customer. So this friend of mine now has called me up and said to me, subhanallah, today is my chance to be the customer of Sheikh Mustafa. And he wants to donate, because this is how we roll, Mazen, of course, 7K. Subhanallah.
So that's $7,000 donation. So we've just upped the benchmark. Right, and subhanallah, he said to me, this is my chance to be his customer. He was my customer, so now this is my chance to be his customer in return. So Allahu Akbar, that's $7,000, $6,000 from here, $5,000 from, mashallah, the guys over at
the Kemba Travel.
The Kemba Travel. Allahu Akbar, it seems to all of it, yani, please do not stop, brothers and sisters. Let's inshallah ta'ala keep it rolling in, inshallah.
Inshallah. And we'll go to Brother Abu Zakaria, who's been patiently waiting, Jazallah khair. And Abdul Hamid, as a community, as you mentioned earlier to Sheikh Abu Adnan, we are an emotional community, you know, or some more emotional than others. How can we direct that emotion to Islamically towards the right place?
That's right, you know, Rami, and we talk about dying for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but what about living for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
That's well said.
So we've got brother
Abu
Abu
Zakaria.
Zakaria on the phone, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, akhi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing, brother?
Alhamdulillah, very good, thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Jazakallah khair for joining us, Abu Zakaria. Please, I mean, we mentioned before, like, as Muslims, we don't submit to our emotions, we submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to the religion of Allah, and we're led by the religion. I mean, in the wake of what's happened in the last week, there's obviously been a lot of emotion floating around. I mean, how can we channel that in a positive way to actually make a difference in our community and both abroad as well?
Yeah, I think that's a good question as well. And I think over the last 3 days, I've spoken to many people. I've read emails, blogs, Facebook, received SMSs, all of which talk about a sense of remorse and sadness for the loss of Brother Mustafa, rahimahullah. What I've come to observe and reflect upon is that this sense of dejection and helplessness that people are feeling is about their own lives as well. So many of us have shed tears and felt a sense of inadequacy when we compare ourselves to the state that Brother Mustafa rahimahullah left. At this stage, you might think it's funny, but it's probably reminding me of something. Reminding me of Neo from The Matrix when he was confronted with the choice of, do I take the blue pill or do I take the red pill? Whichever pill he took determined the outcome. And I think at this time, with the emotion that we're feeling, we too have a choice. We can either succumb to the grief that we're feeling inside, turn away and let it consume us, resulting in nothing but anxiety and people just feeling a sense of depression. Or secondly, what we can do is that we can make a choice to take some sort of action, refusing to succumb to the dejection. And I think there's an opportunity, if you like, to say, hey, I too can make a difference in this world. I too can make a change for the better. So I guess they're the two choices that we're faced with. For those people who choose the latter, I think, okay, so subhanAllah, where do I go from here? Like, what do I do? And I think from there, what I wanted to mention, because some of the mashaykh, mashallah, touched on some great points as to how you can what you can do in terms of your own self-development. What I want to touch upon is some wonderful community projects that people can harness their energies into. Initiatives that are crying out for capable and sincere people. Initiatives like teaching scripture in schools, teaching at Learn to Pray workshops. There's a growing number, and people are unaware of this, growing number of Muslims in foster care within the system that needs to look at and providing for Muslims that are less fortunate, that are living on the streets. And the list can go on and on and on. So from there, then we can go from one of two ways. The brothers and sisters who are listening can either call yourself, Rami, and the rest of the brothers up and leave their details. Or secondly, they can send an email to the following. And if the brothers and sisters can write it down, I want to change 2012 at gmail.com. Did I say that too fast?
I want to change. Is that all one word?
I want to change 2012, all one word, at gmail.com.
So 2012, is that written numerically, just to make it clear?
Yes, numeric.
Okay.
Numerically. So at this time, I'll respond by providing some details of various projects that people can choose to go and channel their energy into. And for those people out there that are project leaders, please, they can send an email to I want to change 2012, and I can then send the details of those people who have sent an email. I'm very fortunate that I work for a great company, and the philosophy in our company is that you can change the world by starting with yourself. People have got to realize that Brother Mustafa made the choice, and he's changed part of the world forever.
Absolutely.
We now need to think, what choice are we going to make? And that's all I wanted to say tonight.
Jazakum khair, Akhi Abu Zakaria. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be the change that this ummah needs. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, in more than one place, لا يغير إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change a nation until this nation changes what's in themselves. And subhanAllah, if we want to be the change that we want to see, we need to change it within ourselves, subhanAllah.
Yeah, well, Rami, well said. And I feel personally that this event has really ignited a spark. A lot of brothers and sisters have just come out of Ramadan on a high, and a lot of people were thinking, I really want to get involved in something. I really want to do something. I really want to get more involved in da'wah. And this has really ignited the spark. A lot of individuals say, okay, how can I do it now? What do I need to do? And alhamdulillah, brother Abu Zakaria, he mentioned that if you want to do something, get involved with the community organization, get involved in a project. And if you're not sure what to get involved with, email the brother, I want to change 2012@gmail.com. Call up the radio station, go to your local masjid, go to your local community center, speak to people who actually work in da'wah and say, look, I really want to make a difference, and this is the year I'm going to do it. Like, don't delay.
Subhanallah. And Ikhwani, wallahi, if there is a time to change, if there is a time for the sister who's been sort of hesitant whether to put on the hijab or not, well, someone who was living in Sydney, Australia, managed to get martyred and get accepted as a martyr with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm sure, sister, you could put on the hijab, and I'm sure, brother, you could let go of that cigarette, and I'm sure, brother, you could let go of that cup of alcohol or that girlfriend. That time to change is tonight, Ikhwani. For the brother who's hesitating, I pray one day and I forget to pray the other day, I delay my prayer, I'm bad to my parents. Well, tonight is the night to change, Ikhwani. Tonight is definitely the night to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we go to our personal accountant, Mr. Abu Zuluf, and I must admit he's an accountant by trade. Mazen, what's the tally so far?
So far, mashallah, we've got 30,450, mashallah. 30,450.
Well, mashallah, jazakumullah khair, and we don't want to belittle what the brothers and sisters have done so far, but it's way off the target.
We can definitely do better than this.
Absolutely. We're not going home tonight, Mazen, until we get what we want.
I think what we can do is warn the people that if we don't get what we're after, Hoblos is not going to shut up. We're not going to leave until we get what we're after. Yeah, it's a given. But yeah, I just wanted to read out a few comments that I've been receiving. A brother, mashallah, a very close brother to us, sent a message saying that he was telling his kids about what was happening and asked his kids whether they wanted to donate money for the sheikh or the cause of the sheikh, and they basically said to give all their money. Because they want to go to Jannah, and they're donating $350. These are kids. These are kids, all under 10 years old, that have said, this must be their Eid money, and have said basically, give them all our money because we want to go to Jannah. So inshallah, that's when we talk about benchmarks and encouraging people, mashallah, that is very uplifting, mashallah.
Well, look, I think definitely everyone's out there, everybody's listening, everyone knows exactly what's going on. Come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy with, never ever be shy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's just pump it up. Let's just start giving in the money.
SMS your friends.
Yes, of course. SMS your friends. You can SMS, or actually for those who know me, you can SMS me. But inshallah ta'ala, we do have a phone number.
Yeah, Hoblos 9758 3399.
You're the phone number guy.
I'm the phone number guy.
You are the phone number
That's
guy.
the only time you give me a chance to speak.
That's it. 9758
3399. Or they can go to the website, Hoblos, islamicaid.org.au. So it's islamicaid, one word, .org.au, and they can donate directly there. Inshallah, we're going to be touching base with Brother Fadi a bit later on and seeing how much money's gone directly into the account. Although I don't know whether the transfer,
they can't check it today, but
there'll be a delay. But inshallah, brothers call through and give your pledges, inshallah.
Well, all right. Well, there is no reason whatsoever to slow down. The night is young. Inshallah ta'ala, let's keep it going. Inshallah, I will never ever lose hope with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can only ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, that we do reach the 100,000.
Inshallah. And Ikhwani, I don't know if the brothers and sisters have noticed, we've actually been playing a fair bit of Quran tonight. And I thought I'll share with you that this Quran that we're playing tonight is actually the recitation that Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub rahimahullah has recited. And subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has definitely gave him a beautiful voice. And we'll share Surah Al-Fatiha inshallah with all the brothers and sisters.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين
Ameen, Allahumma ameen. And subhanAllah, Abdul Hamid, just hearing that voice, subhanAllah, I could imagine myself praying behind this gentleman, subhanAllah, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to hear that beautiful voice, inshallah, in Jannatul Firdaus.
Allahumma ameen, ya Rabbi.
Allahumma ameen. And subhanallah, yani, coming from a family of ulama and a family of scholars and a family of piety, it goes to show, subhanallah, in the upbringing of this martyr, rahimahullah.
Yeah, of course. Just like we were saying before, when we spoke to his father, how much time was invested? How much time? How much? Subhanallah. He was saying that every morning they would read the Quran and they would have a question and answer session. So, mashallah, these fruits that we're now seeing, there was a lot of work, there was a lot of effort put into that, mashallah.
And I think we learn a lot about parenting, hopeless, because a lot of us sometimes we want to take shortcuts. We live in that society where it's all about shortcuts. We want the 2-minute Maggi noodle cup of soup.
Just to drive through.
We want to drive through. We want to, get 6-pack abs, doing 5-minute workouts 3 times a week. That's just the culture. And subhanAllah, we want to raise our kids taking the same shortcuts. And we want to put them in front of the TV. We don't want to, invest that time into raising our kids. And look, he said he'd wake up every morning. He'd wake his kids up. How many of us are actually afraid to wake our kids up for Fajr? Just to wake them up. We think, let them sleep. They got exams. They got school.
Yeah,
we don't want. We don't want them to be. We want them to be really good at school. We want them to excel at school. What about the hereafter?
No.
What about achieving true success in this life and the hereafter? Waking up for Fajr, having a halaqah, reading Quran with your kids. When was the last time we did that?
But subhanallah, what I found amazing was the time they done this. This wasn't something he done when he was free or when he got around to it. This was a program they had every morning. So the first thing that entered their minds as soon as they woke up were the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the words of his blessed prophet. These were the first things that entered their minds. This was the first thing that had entered their hearts. So what a way to start the day, mashallah.
Subhanallah.
Brother Rami.
Subhanallah, wallahi, ikhwani, every time I reflect on this brother and this sheikh that this community has lost, subhanallah, being a young brother, it goes to show as well that this is a young community, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with so many youth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us, as the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in the hadith, نُصِرْتُ بِالشَّبَابِ, that I was given victory through youth. And this is the youth of the ummah, ikhwani, that we, even statistically speaking, we have a lot of youth. And it is something to be concerned about, inshallah, in a good way. But at the same time, we need to utilize that youth in the khair and in the nourishment of this ummah, inshallah.
Subhanallah, just hearing from the father and sort of having that little insight on what the family was like. Wallahi, personally, I would like to take maybe this opportunity to probably even thank his mother. I could only imagine what a superwoman she was. It is said, if you give me a good woman, I'll give you a great nation. And mashallah, Sheikh Mustafa, and we all know his brother, mashallah, Sheikh Fida, who's a star in our community, mashallah. I could just imagine what sort of mother they had. And wallahi, I would like to congratulate that mother right now and tell her that inshallah ta'ala he is waiting at the doors of Firdaus al-A'la, waiting for you inshallah to open those doors for you personally. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Subhanallah, if that father had such a strong character, you can just imagine what that mother was like, So inshallah ta'ala, this was
Subhanallah, and it's interesting how you mentioned the mother, Akhi Muhammad, and the brother, for example, Sheikh Fida, Jazallah Khair, who will be touching base with very soon, inshallah. Ikhwani, this is a family, this is an Islamic unit, it's a Muslim family who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is united fi sabilillah, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite them again in Jannatul Firdaus.
We have on the line a very special guest, Sheikh Arif Shakir. We're very pleased to have him with us. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much for sparing the time for us, Sheikh. I know you're very passionate about what has happened, and you have published a very moving poem that was sent out this week, not soon enough, I think. And we would like to hear that from you, inshallah, and some of your thoughts on the matter.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you for having me on the program, and we'll ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our shaheed.
Ameen.
So you want me to recite the poem?
Yes, please.
Okay, I accepted your request, but bear with me because inshallah I can get through it. I would have loved someone else to read it other than me, but inshallah, if it is your wish, then we'll do it.
Sheikh, I think inshallah, if it comes from the one who wrote it, there's a lot more heart in it.
From the heart.
And Sheikh, just before you read it, Allah Khalik, please, if you can just give us some insight as to what moved you to write it. I mean, obviously a lot of things happen in our lives, a lot of events, but what was the reason, what actually pushed you to do this?
Okay, actually, before I get to that, there is a point that Muhammad Hublas, he beat me to it, which is the community. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be happy with them and be pleased with them. They all embraced our shaheed, Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub, rahimahullah, and they have showed a lot of gratitude to his family and to his father particularly. But one thing that might have been overlooked or unintentionally not done is to actually commemorate his wife, the wife that stood behind him and that assisted him, that was with him every step. And I'm very sure and I'm very confident that the decision that he made did not make it alone. I'm very sure that she was someone that did help him and did support him in making that decision, that life-changing decision. And also the mother that Brother Hublas has mentioned, the heart of this mother that has lost a son, and not only a son that is a sheikh, a son that is a da'i, a very special son. I cannot even imagine. I don't think my words or even my feelings can come close to even feel what this lady feels towards her son. So I'll pay my respect to them. I say to them, may Allah reward you khair for bringing up such a son, and may Allah reward you khair for supporting such a husband. And I would love my sisters out there are active in da'wah to hold some sort of ceremony to honor them, inshallah ta'ala, because they deserve that.
Ameen. Ameen.
Inshallah ta'ala, Sheikh. Please, Sheikh, I'm really, really eager to hear this poem.
As in relation, now. It's going to be hard for me. I'll try, inshallah ta'ala. I'll try. My heart is saddened, but my mind is at peace. For the shahada of Mustafa does sadden and please. It pleases my mind that his rank is esteemed. It saddens my heart that his face disappeared. Your soul, O Mustafa, is pure and so is your deed. You taught, you loved, and you aided those in need. My friend, my brother, may you always be pleased. May the angels hail you. For you are a shaheed. By the love of Allah, you were enchanted. By the words of Muhammad, you were incited. It was Jannah that you always wanted. Glad tidings, today your wish is granted. Forgiveness, Jannah, Hur and more. Be at peace, my brother. No pain anymore. I farewell, my brother, with a smile and a tear. I ask Allah to accept you. Enjoy your rank, my deed. And one day, my friend will be close in knee. Jazakumullah khair.
Subhanallah. May Allah reward you, Sheikh. These are very moving words. Wallah, I don't think there's a dry eye in the studio right now.
Sheikh, wallahi, I must say that when the brothers told me that Sheikh Arif wrote a poem, wallahi, it shows some light on yourself as well, Sheikh, that mashallah, that this was the way you chose to express yourself. And wallahi, I must say, those were probably some of the most beautiful words I've heard in a very, very long time. Sheikh, Jazakallah khairan for sharing that with us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah reunite you with your dear friend, inshallah ta'ala, Sheikh. Jazakallah khairan.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters, to the Deen team on Friday nights. And with us in the studio is Brother Sami Dan. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brother Sami, you look like you've had a very long day. How's everything your way?
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. No matter how difficulties or how much difficulty that we go through, it is nothing in comparison to some of our brothers and sisters who are currently facing some extreme atrocities being committed against them in all the different worlds, particularly in Syria. So I think no matter what difficulties that we are going through, inshallah, in comparison to them is nothing.
Jazakallah khair. And Akhi Samir, you're more on a community leadership level. Has a community leaders looking at the Syrian situation? I mean, the rest of the community is extremely emotional towards it. What's your take, and what's the take of the rest of the leaders of the community?
SubhanAllah, I mean, this issue has been going on for many months, and as a consequence of that issue, there's been a lot of discussions, a lot of meetings with many different leaders within the Muslim community about how can we help and how can we address. How can we help the issues back in Syria? How can we help the refugees in Turkey? How can we help the refugees in Lebanon? So there's been a lot of projects, a lot of support that's been gathering, a lot of donations, a lot of medical equipment, a lot of medical supplies, etc. and the likes, and how we can actually send it across to the right people there. In the same time, we'll also be concerned about some of the issues that might arise in terms of the frictions between some of the groups back in Sydney. The police, both on the federal level as well as state level, has been quite active in addressing some of these issues and not to allow that to escalate. So the community leaders have been meeting regularly in terms of how they can address these issues. But first and foremost, our main concern and main objective is how can we help in any type of project to further extend that level of assistance to our brothers and sisters back in Syria.
Jazakallah khair, Akhi Sami. And Akhi Sami, you came personally tonight to welcome one of Sydney's mashayikh and special guests of tonight's program, and the older brother of Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub rahimahullah, Sheikh Majzoub rahimahullah, Jazahullah khair, who is joining us live from the border of Syria to Turkey. And Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
كيف حالكم شيخنا فداء؟
الحمد لله، جزاكم الله خيرا.
جزاكم الله خيرا.
شكرا لاتصالكم.
والله الحمد لله شيخنا، وتقبل الله شهيدكم وأدخله الله سبحانه وتعالى في فسيح جناته، ونسأل الله عز وجل بأن يثبتكم ويتقبل منكم أعمالكم. شيخنا، هل تستطيع أن توصف لنا يعني الوضع كما هو عندكم؟
الوضع الذي أراه أنا الآن هو أن سيارات كثيرة محملة بالبشر تحاول أن تنقل المدنيين من بعض القرى في ريف اللاذقية. أنا الآن في الموقع الذي أنا فيه بالضبط على الحدود السورية التركية من جهة اللاذقية. طبعا لا يوجد حدود نظامية، نحن نتكلم هون عن يعني تجاوز للحدود من غير المنافذ الطبيعية. هم يحاولون الفرار بأي شكل من الأشكال. اللي أنا شايفه الآن أمامي أن سيارات تحمل بعض اللاجئين والأسر من أطراف متفرقة من ريف اللاذقية تنقلهم إلى الحدود نتيجة القصف الرهيب الذي تعرضت له اليوم صباحا إحدى المناطق في ريف اللاذقية. أرى أطفال عيونهم تلمع خوف وعليها دموع. أرى الآن نساء تتكدس فوق بعضها في مؤخرة السيارة، سيارات البيكاب، والبشر كأنهم أكياس من الطحين ولا أكياس اسمنت مكدسين فوق بعضهم متوجهين أمام باتجاه الحدود التركية رجاء أن يدخلوا إلى أماكن آمنة.
شيخنا، بس لو تعطينا ثواني نترجمها لإخواننا الغير ناطقين باللغة العربية بعد إذنك. Brothers and sisters, the Sheikh Jazallah Khair, who's actually on the border, this is the older Sheikh of Sheikh Mustafa, this is Sheikh Majzoub, who's joining us live from the border of Turkey and Syria at the moment, the Syrian-Turkey border. And as he said, Jazallah Khair, that he is seeing a very difficult scene where he's seeing thousands of people being mobilized due to the constant bombardment, the constant shelling, the constant killing of civilians, which is taking place at the moment in Al-Ladiqiyya in Syria. He's also seeing thousands of people being rounded up, mobilized, a whole nation moving, people being cramped up into cars just like sardines, if the expression can be used, children crying with continuously, women being trapped, and so many difficult scenes which wallahi it's very hard to describe and very hard to pass on. And Akhi Samir, I mean, يعني it's very difficult just listening to this.
دكتور فداء، أخوك سمير دندن معك إن شاء الله. كيف أخبارك؟
مرحبا بكم، يا مرحبا.
الله يبارك فيكم يا شيخ ويكتر من أمثالكم ويتقبلكم الله إن شاء الله. Dr. Fida, we've spoken a few times in the past, and what sort of resonates in my mindset is not only the conditions that the brothers and sisters are currently facing in Syria, but more about what is required from the brothers and sisters who are living in comfort, living in peace. What more can we do to encourage the brothers and sisters back in Sydney? What is it that we can actively provide for those brothers and sisters back home? You obviously there at the first point of contact, you've seen the atrocities, you've seen what is currently required. So we'd like to hear from you in these short minutes. I mean, we all see the pictures on TV, we all see the images on YouTube, we all see, you know, some feedback coming back from there, but you there at the first hand, having lost one of your brothers, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept him, obviously Allah selected him as a shaheed. We'd like to hear from you in these short minutes, what is it that we can do as a community back in Sydney, back in Australia, to encourage the brothers and sisters to dig deeper in order to provide more help and more assistance. Jazakallah khair.
يعني مهما كان اللي عم تشوفوه على شاشات التلفزيون او على شاشات او في اليوتيوب، حقيقة الواقع يختلف تماما، لانه في امامك انت الان مشاعر واحاسيس ما عم تستطيع تحبسها. لكن انا رح جاوب على السؤال اللي قلته اخي سمير، انه شو المطلوب من المجتمع المسلم انه يعمله لحتى يقدم خدمة للمجتمع، للمدنيين وللسوريين هون، لاخوانهم واهلهم. في ثلاث مستويات الحقيقة. المستوى الاول اللي بدي اتكلم عنه على مستوى العلاقة بيننا وبين الله سبحانه وتعالى. نحن قضيتنا في الدرجة الاولى هي قضية نعتمد فيها على مولانا سبحانه وتعالى في ان يمدنا بنصر وينهي هذا النظام المجرم الظالم ويعيش الناس بطمأنينة. هذا المستوى الاول، وهذا يعني هي ان نتذكر اهلنا في سوريا بدعاء دائم صادق. مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم كمثل الجسد الواحد إذا اشتكى منه عضو تداعى له سائر الأعضاء بالسهر والحمى. وأنا أعتبر أن مقدمة النصر هو أن تعيش الأمة هذا المعنى، معنى أننا جسد واحد، وهذا هو المستوى الأول. سأعطي فرصة للترجمة إذا أحببتم قبل أن تنتقل إلى المستوى الثاني.
إن شاء الله. جزاك الله خير. Brothers and sisters, the Sheikh Hafidhullah is basically trying to portray a message that whatever you see on YouTube or you hear on the news or watch on Al Jazeera or Al Arabi or whatever it is that whatever medium that you're trying to catch up on the news from, you can't pass on the emotion. You can't see the crying children. You can't see the full picture. You may see images, you might hear a few figures, but you could never catch the full picture unless you're there. And the Sheikh is trying to illustrate how hard it is being there and watching the atrocities that are taking place at the moment. And the Sheikh is responding to the question of Brother Samir Dandan, where what's our role in Sydney, Australia? What's our role in the West as Muslims? And the Sheikh is mentioning that there are three levels. Level number one is your relationship as a Muslim with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your relationship as a Muslim with your Creator. And we need to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a community, as individuals, as families. And the simplest thing that you can do for your brothers and sisters in Syria or any part of the other part of the world is to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. تفضل شيخنا.
المستوى الثاني اللي مهم جدا انه نتكلم عنه، خليني اربط الامر برسالة الشهيد رحمة الله عليه ابو عمار الشيخ مصطفى. مصطفى هو ابن المجتمع المسلم في استراليا، هو عاش في استراليا حياته، هو يحمل الجنسية الاسترالية، هو عاش القيم الاسلامية في استراليا. المجتمع المسلم في استراليا حقيقة يري كثير من الاهتمام والتعاطف، لكن في ذات الوقت ما عم يعرف نفسه شو بده يتصرف. نحن بنقول للمجتمع المسلم هناك، نقول لهم على أقل تقدير لنقسم نحن المناطق المتضررة في سوريا إلى مستويات. لنقل مثلا على سبيل المثال أنه يعني عندنا الحالة الكارثية في المنطقة الفلانية، بدنا نكفل فيها الأيتام، بدنا نرعى فيها الجرحى، بدنا نحن نوفر فيها شيء مما يحمي في إيصال المساعدات الإنسانية. يعني نحن عم نحكي الآن على أنه يعني أنا حقيقة اسمحوا لي دائما أرجع للصورة اللي عم نشوفها أمامي. اليوم الصبح أمامنا 15 طن من الطحين نريد أن ندخله إلى داخل الريف اللاذقية. الطريق الذي نسلكه خطر لدرجة أنه فيه ألغام، منتظرين شيء من المساعدة تجاه أنه كيف ممكن نوفر أدوات لكشف هذه الألغام فيما إذا أردنا أن نوصل المساعدات الإنسانية إلى الداخل نستطيع أن نوصلها من غير أنه ينفجر اللغم بأحد ممن يحمل كيس الطحين ليصنع منه خبز لهؤلاء. المسلمون في أستراليا يستطيعون فعل الكثير، يستطيعون أن يوفروا دعم لشراء هذه المعدات، دعم لتوفير هذه الأدوات المساعدة لإيصال هذه المساعدات. وأنا بعتبر أنه فرصة كبيرة لنا موجودة نحن الآن في المسلمين في أستراليا أنه يتحركوا بكل الاتجاهات، لهم اتصالاتهم سواء في ذلك مع الحكومة الأسترالية سواء في ذلك مع الشركات المختلفة في الواقع الأسترالي في أن تتوفر شيء من المساعدات للحماية على أقل تقدير. قبل أن أنتقل إلى المستوى الثالث.
نعم جزاك الله خير شيخنا. Brothers and sisters, the second level that the Sheikh is discussing and talking about is on a community level. So the first was on a relationship level between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second level is on a community level, living in the luxury of the West, living in the luxury of Australia. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. What is our role, brothers and sisters? And the Sheikh is saying we in Sydney, Australia, we need to be able to distinguish and divide the areas within Syria that are damaged and look at the different levels of damage. Some areas haven't seen food or water for so many weeks and months, and these areas obviously need a lot more attention than other areas which are receiving aid. And he gave an example where they had tons of flour which needs to be transported to a particular area, and this flour they weren't able to even cross it over due to the fact that the land or the roads are all full of mines. And this is where the Australian Muslim community comes in, where whoever has contacts, whoever has the funds, whoever has the intelligence, whatever it may take, to help the brothers and sisters in Syria to be able to pass those obstacles which come in their way. May it be mines, may it be other obstacles that were placed by the tyrant regime there. تفضل شيخنا.
المستوى الثالث وهو مهم جدا. نحن نعيش في أستراليا ونحمل جواز سفرها. نريد أن نوصل رسالة إلى حكومتنا الأسترالية، نقول لهم أنه منتظر أن نرى اسم أستراليا حقيقة يشارك في تخفيف معاناة السوريين، في تخفيف معاناة المسلمين في سوريا. أستراليا تدخلت في أشياء كثيرة على مستوى العالم العربي والإسلامي. نريد أن نراها الآن لأستراليا باسمها الصريح المعلن، ونشجع هذه الإدارة على أن تأخذ خطوات إيجابية بهذا الاتجاه. وجدنا أستراليا تدخلت في قضايا إنسانية في مواقع أخرى حول العالم، في إندونيسيا وفي مشكورة على هذا الأمر، لكن الآن نحن أمام قضية كارثية بامتياز. نريد أن نقول للمجتمع الأسترالي، نحن كمجتمع مسلم أستراليين لنا رسالة إنسانية نريدكم أن تساعدونا فيها، نريدكم أن توصلوها، تكونوا فعلا يعني حاملين لهذا المعنى الإنساني في هذا الموقع الكارثي على وجه الخصوص. أنا أتصور إذا لم أرى أمامي أن المجتمع المسلم في أستراليا، أن دولة أستراليا التي نحمل جواز سفرها واللي نحن مطمئنين في الحياة فيها، أولادنا وأسرنا موجودين هناك بطمأنينة وسلامة، لكن في قيم إنسانية عظيمة جدا نشترك فيها جميعنا كبشر وكمجتمع إنساني. عم أقول إذا ما وصلنا إلى مستوى أن نشجع أن حكومتنا الأسترالية فعلا نرى اسمها حاضر، ليس فقط على مستوى العمل السياسي في الأمم المتحدة وفي الغرف المغلقة وفي الضغوط مما وراء الستائر، هذا كله مطلوب، لكن نريد أن نشجع الحكومة الأسترالية ونحثها على أن تكون حاضرة ميدانيا. نرى مستشفى مرفوع عليها العلم الأسترالي تنقذ الجرحى، توصل الأطراف التي تقطعت وانفجر تحتها الألغام فتلاشت. أنا الآن هاللفظة لما عم أقولها استحضرت مشهد أبو عمار رحمه الله، هو واللي استشهدوا معه، بأنه جزء من أطرافهم بتر تماما من الذين لم يستشهدوا، من فقد قدمه ومن فقد جزء من جسده. هؤلاء نتمنى لو أن أستراليا، واللي لها رسالة إنسانية ورسالة أيضا على مستوى المجتمعات الإسلامية، أن نرى مستشفى مرفوع عليه العلم الأسترالي داخل سوريا يعمل، أو إذا لم يكن مرفوع عليها العلم لكن معروف أنها تمثل القيم الإسلامية للمجتمع المسلم في أستراليا، تمثل القيم الأسترالية. نريد أن نرى أستراليا لها دور أيضا فيما يتعلق بتوفير ما يمكن أن نتواصل فيه مع بعضنا. نحن في الداخل إخواني لحتى نوصل رسالة من مكان إلى مكان نعاني الأمرين، يعني مسافات وأخطار حتى نوصل رسالة. نريد أستراليا أن يشجعها المجتمع المسلم هناك الأسترالي أنه توفر لنا مساعدات لا نستطيع أن نشتريها من السوبر ماركت ومن ال من ال من من ال من, من كولز ولا من. نحتاج إلى أشياء على مستوى دولة. شو اللي هو على مستوى دولة؟ اللي هو على مستوى دولة شيء تملكه الدول. الدول هي التي تملك الأجهزة الكاشفة عن الألغام، الدول هي التي تملك أجهزة الاتصالات، الدول هي التي تملك قدرة على توفير وصل الأطراف، الدول هي التي قادرة على أن توفر حالة من شبكة الأمان والاتصال. هذا المستوى الثالث اللي مهم جدا أن يشتغل عليه المجتمع المسلم في أستراليا، في دولته أستراليا.
نعم جزاك الله خير شيخنا. The third level that the Sheikh is hoping to see that the Muslim community engages in is actually on an Australian government level, where with the Muslim community contacts their representatives in the Australian government, the different government bodies, different government departments, to help increase the Australian contribution towards the Syrian population, which is distributed all over the Middle East at the moment, to help the Syrian people within Syria and outside Syria in so many different ways. May it be in starting up hospitals, which are much needed, and the Sheikh is even going to the extreme of saying, well, it would be nice to have a hospital built at the moment to look after the Syrian population with an Australian flag on it, to show that this aid actually came from the Australian government, to help remove mines away from the community there, to help in all the various different ways which are much needed. And we as a Muslim community need to indulge a bit more with the Australian government, to remind the Australian government that yes, hopping out on an international level, maybe in the UN offices in America, is nice. However, there's a much greater and imperative role that can be taken and must be taken within the Syrian borders, which is to help safeguard the people of Syria. تفضل شيخنا.
نعم، الآن أعود إلى قضية مهمة جدا. المجتمع المسلم في أستراليا حقيقة في كل الأحداث التي مرت على العالم العربي والإسلامي كان له سبق متميز. برجع مرة ثانية للشهيد رحمة الله عليه أبو عمار الشيخ مصطفى. أنا بقول أنه أبو عمار كان رسول المجتمع المسلم الأسترالي، كان رسول أستراليا في إيصال المساعدات، في مد يد العون. وبدأ أبو عمار رحمه الله الشهيد مصطفى بدأ في برامج كبيرة جدا هنا في المنطقة التي هو فيها. طبعا لما بقول كبيرة على مستوى المنطقة اللي كان فيها ويتابعها، اللي أنا بقول المجتمع المسلم اللي بيعرف تعقدات المنطقة هون بأنه المنطقة الساحلية خطرة جدا جدا بكل المعايير خطرة. فهو رسول لهذا المجتمع المسلم في أستراليا. لأستراليا نريدكم أن تساعدونا لتستمر هذه الرسالة، لتستمر هذه الرسالة حقيقة، فلا تنقطع إلا وقد نعم السوريون بحريتهم وبكرامتهم. بقول أنا فرصة كبيرة جدا لو رجعت إلى أستراليا كمستقبل، فرصة كبيرة جدا لأستراليا أن تقيم صداقة مع سوريا الجديدة، مع مستقبل سوريا. أنا أطمئن كل من يسمعني الآن، والله الثورة السورية ستنتصر بإذن الله، ستنتصر إن شاء الله. مهما كان قمع النظام وقتل النظام وبطش النظام، مهما كانت روسيا تقف معه، مهما كانت إيران تقف معه، مهما كان حزب الله يقف معه، مهما كان أصحاب المصالح يقفون معه، لكن بالأخير الشعب كله سائر في وجه هذا النظام المجرم، وستنتصر الثورة. الآن هو الوقت المناسب لصناعة صداقة حقيقية مع سوريا الجديدة، وأن يكون المجتمع المسلم في أستراليا هو هذا الجسر المبارك لحتى نحن نبني هذا الوطن إن شاء الله سبحانه وتعالى، ويكون مصدر طمأنينة وخير لكل الإنسانية والبشرية. أقول للمسلمين في أستراليا، وأنا أستأذنكم يجب أن تنتهي مداخلتي خلال لحظات، أقول للمسلمين في أستراليا سوريا بلاد الشام بالمصطلحات الإسلامية بالمفاهيم الشرعية هي أرض رباط في سبيل الله تعالى إلى يوم القيامة، ونعتبر أن العالم يولد الآن من جديد. إذا ستنتصر الثورة السورية إن شاء الله سبحانه وتعالى، وستقوم دولة العدالة والحرية ودولة الفضيلة وفق القيم الإسلامية في سوريا، عندما ستنتصر الثورة يعني أننا نتحدث عن ولادة جديدة للعالم كله. ستتغير كثير من المعايير وكثير من المفاهيم في حياة البشرية، في حياة المجتمع المسلم، في حياة الشعوب هذه المنطقة. تحية لكم أيها الأحبة، أشكر لك تتيح لي فرصة أخي العزيز راني ولإذاعة الصوت الإسلامي، ولأخي العزيز سمير. أستاذنكم يجب أن أنهي مداخلتي الآن.
جزاك الله خير شيخنا.
بارك الله فيك شيخ.
نشكرك جزيل الشكر. بارك الله فيك. And we'll quickly summarize the last very points, إخواني. The Sheikh Hafidahullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him steadfastness, mentioned that the Australian country and the Australian Muslim community has been very distinguished on a global level as a Muslim community in Syria, where and Shaheed rahimahullah Abu Ammar, or Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub rahimahullah, was actually a representative of our community in the Syrian region, where he's started so many projects, so many initiatives, and the Sheikh is saying it will be a waste for all these projects to be let go of and for it to go to waste. So do contribute and do donate to continue on these projects in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that we as an Australian Muslim community should become the bridge between the Australian government and the new government of Syria, inshallah, once it's freed. And Ikhwani, the Sheikh finished off with a few beautiful messages, very, very powerful messages. The first one is that Bilad al-Sham Ardu Ribat, the Bilad al-Sham, and the Bilad al-Sham is not just Syria. It is Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine. It is the land of Ribat, struggle in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that the whole world is being born again, and it is starting from Ard al-Ribat, from Bilad al-Sham. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give steadfastness to Sheikh Fidat Majzoub, wherever he is. And subhanAllah, Ikhwani, just to give you an example of what kind of person he is, he was supposed to be interviewed by us 2 weeks ago, and when we called him to put him on the show, the words he was telling me were basically among the lines of, we're getting bombarded, we're getting shelled at the moment, I have to go, I can't start the interview. So subhanallah, we communicated with Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub rahimahullah last week, and he was supposed to be our guest, and due to a technical error it didn't work out, so he was rescheduled for tonight. And subhanallah, tonight he's no longer amongst us, as he was martyred. Taqabballah min. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from him. And Akhi Samir, I mean, from your perspective, what kind of words would you say to the community? I mean, having heard what you've heard.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Brother Rami, I thought that I should give a bit of a background, a bit of a context about some of the discussions that we've been having for the last few months. And this is inshallah with the objective to try and encourage the brothers and sisters to understand truly what is happening on an international level in terms of the assistance. We keep hearing all these different governments providing aid and providing assistance, and unfortunately such aid and such assistance can only go through what we refer to as the United Nations. And you can just imagine, Brother Rami, the bureaucracy that takes place. So the countries that would say that we are donating millions of dollars, and the last record that we heard as far as the Australian government is concerned, that tells us about $67 million, of which when you ask the people on the ground, they're probably only receiving a very small percentage of that because of the bureaucracy. You have Islamic countries that are basically coming to the aid from a financial perspective, but yet you see the Muslim brothers and sisters over there are asking a little bit more. You heard what Dr. Fida are looking at. They say, well, look, we don't need any weapons. Give us the equipment that through that we can at least protect ourselves. One of the stories that Dr. Fida mentioned to me, that a man was carrying with him a few bread loaves, and suddenly he sees him explode into pieces. This is landmines. So you have the Syrian armies moving into cities, and then they're clearing the cities thinking, okay, they have been defeated, but all they've done is actually plant all these landmines, and of which the brothers and sisters there don't have even the machines or the radars that they can identify all these type of landmines. We're talking about telecommunication services. We've also heard there's other countries that have implemented solutions within Syria of which they can track some phone calls, and not only track it but even localize it so they can shoot off rockets from 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers to that pinpoint positions. So the brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them. We don't see that we need the help of Western societies besides needing the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this is to give the brothers and sisters a bit of a context. Islamic countries are providing a lot of money, but not all that money is getting there. We need to identify how best that we as a community can help those. We sit here, and it's sad for me, people throughout the day, I went to Lakemba Mosque and I witnessed a khutbah where the father of the shaheed was there, and he made a few comments, and may Allah reward him. He is so steadfast in his positions. And I heard you brothers before talking about we wish if our fathers can be exemplified in that type of character and encourage us. And yet you turn around and you see after a few days the brothers have forgotten about what has happened. So this is a wake-up call. You know, the shaheed, and we talk about shaheed and whether he was, you know, a shaheed or not, and we firmly believe that the shaheed is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has selects. He selects those individuals that He wants to bestow upon them that honor of shahada, the honor of martyrdom. So to us it is a wake-up call. We talk about the unity of this ummah. We all know, and Sheikh Fidat mentioned about the hadith of the body of a Muslim, that if one part of the body feels the pain or the ache, that we all should struggle together. So we should take heed and listen from this as a Muslim community in Australia, that for how long do we keep talking about this cliche of unity among all of us? This is now a lesson that we need to reinforce among all the different groups, all the different scholars, that we are here standing today. And you saw what happened on Tuesday night inside Lakemba Mosque. You saw how many different people from many different schools of thoughts united together for one cause. Are we just going to stop this movement of unity after we forget about the Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub, or are we going to take heed and listen of this and continue with this drive? Yet I feel upset, I feel disgruntled when even at the definition of Eid we can't even unite upon. The allocation of Ramadan, when does it start, we can't even unite upon. And I'm firmly of the belief that the Prophet ﷺ, you know, in many different incidents where he talks, there's no issue with having difference of opinions, but draw the line about these differences and do not allow these differences to become a point of animosity. This is where we are forgetting. There's many differences of opinions about one incident, and I'm not an academic, I'm not a Muslim scholar, but we hear our mashayikh from all different groups talking about unity, but yet when it comes to the walk, and we're seeing what Brother Mustafa Majzoub did, he did not just talk, he actually walked what he said. He walked about what he has recommended to all the brothers in his past future. So I hope, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of this community inshallah, for the sake of the brothers and sisters, and for the sake of those martyrs that are paying the price with their blood, that we take this lesson at heart. We do not want to smile. We cannot afford to smile, not at this time or point. I'm reminded about the story of Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi, even when he was a young man. People used to ask him, why do you not smile? He goes, how can I smile? And Al-Quds is in the hands of who?
The Crusaders.
How can we now smile and we see what is happening to our brothers and sisters? Not only in Syria, even in Burma, the unnoticed group. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all brothers, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us on the straight path, that we work for the purpose of Allah and clarify our intentions inshallah. Wa jazakumullahu khair.
Jazakumullahu khair, Akhi Samir, and wallahi very powerful words, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us steadfast and bring unity to this community, Allahumma ameen. And we're running out of time, unfortunately, brothers and sisters. However, we do have our last guest for tonight, and it is Brother Muhammad Zoud, who's actually joining us live from Turkey, inshallah. And Brother Muhammad Zoud, Jazallah khair, is one of the special brothers, I would say, in this community. Yani, subhanallah, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with brothers like Brother Muhammad Zoud. Akhi Muhammad, assalamu alaikum. And how are you?
Alhamdulillah, very well.
Alhamdulillah. And Akhi Muhammad, I know that your time's very limited where you are, and subhanAllah, your schedule is extremely tight from what you've explained to me previously. What's the situation on the ground there, especially towards our brothers and sisters from Syria, the Syrian refugees?
I've only just arrived last night, so my experience has been limited. But from what I have experienced in this short time of less than 24 hours, I prayed Salat al-Jama'ah in Sultan Ahmed Mosque, the biggest mosque in Turkey, and I haven't scheduled any meetings as yet. but just from the sentiment and the feeling and the ambience in the khutbah, most of it was in Turkish. From what I understood, the word Syria, the words Burma, were pretty much most of the khutbah. So the country is really feeling the effect of the 70 or 80,000 refugees that have crossed the border. Just to put the brothers and sisters in Sydney, to put this whole case in perspective with regards to Turkey, imagine the Kemba Mosque filled 2 or 3 times over. Imagine all the people in the mosque crossing borders in literally one day, and that's what happened just a couple of weeks ago on August 16. It was 60,000 refugees in Turkey, and overnight it became just under 70,000, and now it's well over 70,000. The situation is quite dire from what I understand from the limited time that I've had here.
Brother Muhammad, we just heard from Sheikh Fidat just a moment ago, and he was telling us that when we sit here in Australia and we see things on TV or on YouTube, it's very different than experiencing it in real life. We see the pictures, we see the images, but we don't see the emotion. I know you've just arrived there yourself, but obviously you would have seen a fair bit and maybe spoken to people. What is the emotion there on the ground, to local people?
It's a very, very different level. I think, Allah ta'abbal minno, shaheed Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub. I think one of the most important things that happened to Sydney was the feeling that it's actually at home. We see things on TV. I was born and raised in Sydney, and I talk about Gaza, and I speak to people about Gaza. I hear Gaza in the khutbah, and I hear about Syria in the khutbah, and I see it on YouTube, and there's silence for betrayal, and all these things. But it's not until someone really close to me feels it or is part of the action that I actually feel what is going on, and that's what the millions of people in Turkey are feeling at the moment. That it isn't next door; it's actually in their country. People are trying to get in, and the country has somewhat been shaken. The minister just announced that they can't take more than 100,000 refugees. Well, in the space of just a few days, it's gone up to around 80,000. So I think the people in Turkey at the moment are realizing that this is it really isn't the country next door. It's really happening right here and now.
So, brothers and sisters here in Australia, they want to help. They've been touched by what's happened, obviously with what's the martyr, the shaheed, Sheikh Mustafa, and they want to get more involved. They want to do something. You've actually gone across to Turkey, but for someone who's here in Sydney in Australia, what can we actually do to help the situation? Obviously, the refugees are flooding in. There's a limit to the number of people that Turkey is taking in. What can we do to help the situation?
Ask me that question, Brother Abdul, in about a week's time. But from what I do understand, there are several organisations in Sydney that are supporting. And given that the number of refugees is just growing exponentially, I'd support anyone and everyone. The money, inshallah, will reach here. So if you can't support financially, then support with your dua. But it really is, for the last 3 or 4 months, I've been hearing about this, and I've watched Dr. Al-Arifi's khutbah on YouTube, and I have been affected to some degree, but I'm starting to realise how really big this is, and I guess dua is absolute minimum. That's the least thing we can do. Imagine showing up on the Day of Judgment and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, look what happened during your time, and the word Burma or the word Syria didn't cross our tongues or cross our lips with regards to our dua and our sujood. I think we need to pull our socks up with regards to feeling, not responsible, but feeling at least empathetic to our brothers and sisters in the other parts of the world.
Inshallah ta'ala. Sheikh Muhammad Zawd, it's hubless with you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Wallahi, it's very, very empowering to know that there are brothers like yourself who always seem to take it upon themselves to get out there and look at things firsthand. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Brother, just one last question, inshallah. What do you say to the brothers and sisters who don't have money to help? Because subhanAllah, yani, the only way we seem to hear, really the only way you can help is through your finances. From what you can see there, and I mean, I know it's a bit hard for you to comment because you've only been there for 24 hours, but is money the only thing you can do?
Absolutely not, and that's never been historically. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, it was a continual notion. It was a continuous notion. It was something that was so embedded in the Aqidah of Islam that it's not about what physically you're doing. It's about your capacity. And the Prophet ﷺ witnessed that. He witnessed Uthman radiallahu anhu donate to the nth degree on that day. Abu Bakr donated less than Uthman, but Abu Bakr, in terms of his capacity, donated as much as he could. So it's all about capacity. If you can't donate, then do something that you can do. And some things, I don't think we realize that they're connected, but they're indirectly connected. If you're able to give something to the Deen in general, then give it. If you're able to give a khutbah and you're qualified for it, then give the khutbah. Why are you sitting down? If you're able to write a book, write the book. If you're able to donate, then donate. If you're able to call, if you're not able to give the khutbah, then SMS someone, tell them to come and watch the khutbah, or open the door for the mosque, or turn on the lights, or clean the mosque, or do something. We hear a number of occasions in the time of the Prophet ﷺ of people being rewarded for something that they did that was so small. The fact was, that was the capacity. So, Hoblos, in answer to your question, if you can donate, Allah see. But if you can't, dua is the obvious thing that all of us have to meet. That's the threshold of actually feeling for these people. But do anything for Islam that you can. I think that is a very, very important mantra. You've got to do anything in your capacity to support the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything.
Jazakallah khair, Akhi Muhammad, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and keep you steadfast where you are. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring you back safely to your family and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that...
Can I make one last comment, please?
تفضل أخي.
I did get to the hotel a little bit early yesterday, and I jumped on some of the social media sites. I have to say I'm very, very disturbed by what I saw from a prospective Auburn councillor. I'm not going to mention his name, but the fact that he wrote the words to the effect of going against what Sheikh Mustafa did and disgracing his family and disgracing his community, I think is absolutely ridiculous. And I just want to remind, I won't be in the country, but anyone who's going to vote in the Auburn LGA on September 8th, don't dare vote for someone who is so heartless. I'm sorry, but I'm not usually this political, but I just couldn't believe what I read from someone with regards to Sheikh Mustafa, given that he sacrificed his life just to support refugees, to support people who have lost everything.
Jazakallah khair, Akhi Muhammad. And I'm sure that particular councillor is going to really enjoy it when he loses the election, Muhammad. I could assure you that, inshallah. And I'm sure our brothers and sisters in Auburn, in particularly the Auburn area, know who that particular councillor is, and he'll get his fair reward sooner rather than later. But Jazakallah khair for mentioning that, Akhi Muhammad. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept your deeds and reward you in plentiful, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring you back safely to your family. Barakallah feek. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. SubhanAllah, that was Brother Muhammad Zoud. I must admit, he's one of the younger brothers in our community, but mashallah, he's definitely one of the stars of this community that I've seen in my lifetime anyway. And Akhi Abdul Hamid, we are wrapping up and we are heading towards the end of the program. However, our accountant is coming to us with a final count. A final count, inshallah, from different mosques, different organizations, different people, different pledges. Jazakallah khair. And when you're ready, Akhi Mazen, I know the figure's too big, but when you're ready.
Well, mashallah, we've got a tally of 56,975. That includes And
which is directly going to Syria.
And this is all going, inshallah, almost all of this is going to Syria, inshallah. I just wanted to add as well in there, it's not too late. We had another call of children having donated their Eid money of $300. You know, so these are kids that have given up their Eid money. We've had people that have pledged $50 a week, $100 a week, continuing indefinitely as long as they can. So there's another option for you. A new benchmark was set as well by Anonymous. Again, $8,000. Hoblos, I think that's now one on my side there. $8,000. Inshallah. So you know, please, brothers and sisters, keep it coming. We will post the account details on the Facebook page. But maybe Abdul, one last time, just to give that bank account detail if we can, if you have it anywhere else.
Yeah, sure. So you can actually go to the website directly, which is islamicaid.org.au. That's islamicaid, one word, .org.au. If you wanted to do transfer funds, you can transfer the funds to the Commonwealth Bank account. The details are, the BSB number is 062196. So the BSB number is 062196, and the account number is 11291341. That's 11291341. And just remember to put in the description Sheikh Mustafa, and that money will go directly to Syria, bi'idhnillah.
Inshallah, jazakallah khair. And Hublas, it's very hard to keep you quiet. What is it that you want to say?
Hey, I want to say something before he jumps in, because I'll never get a chance yet.
Yeah, you know what, we'll say it.
What are you trying to say, is it?
Just one other thing. I spoke to Sheikh Arif after we finished with him, after he read his poem, because I don't think anyone here was able to talk anymore, and neither was the Sheikh. Just to thank him and assure him he did a good job, because he obviously did not want to read that poem, and we understand why he didn't want to read the poem, mashallah. But I did want to, as an amana from the Sheikh, he did mention to me afterwards that he really wanted to say that because of Sheikh Mustafa's love for the Quran and the struggle and the striving and the effort he put in to preserve the Quran in his heart, he suggested a good idea for an organization or a school or a classroom somewhere to dedicate a Quran class after the name of the Sheikh, inshallah, to give that continuing rewards, inshallah, for the Sheikh.
Inshallah. You know what, we'll do one right now for you, Akhi Mazen. Abdul Hamid will call one of the Sydney Islamic College Quran classes by Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub's name. Since you're the principal, done. So
first in, first served.
Done. And of course, Rami, because I don't go out like that. Text message just came in.
As they do.
How we roll, Habib.
As they do.
New benchmark, 10 grand.
10 grand.
10 grand. So we just got the text message now, and that's the same brother who said that the Sheikh was his customer. Now he wanted to be the customer of the Sheikh. So this brother, mashallah, has just bumped it up now to 10 grand. So Mazen, just to let you know, Yani, of course, better luck next time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you.
Can I just butt in, Hoblos, before you continue?
Ya ilah al-arsh. Naam, tfaddal.
Just going back to Sheikh Arif's poem, Mazen, he obviously sent that to us through emails during the week, and it was quite touching reading it.
Absolutely.
But just hearing him say it over the radio was just a whole different level.
I don't think it would have turned out any better if it had been read by anyone else. It had to be read by him. So inshallah, as they say, from the heart to the heart. So that was definitely very obvious there.
Inshallah. And just for the brothers and sisters, if they've missed a segment of the show, we are actually recording this show.
Afan, just on that, the majority of the show got recorded. There were bits and pieces that weren't, unfortunately. But
probably Hoblos' pieces were cut out.
But inshallah, we'll do our best to upload it over the mediums, inshallah.
Inshallah, and if you want to get a copy, inshallah, or download the podcast, it will be uploaded on the Sunni Muslim Youth Facebook page, inshallah.
Yep, inshallah.
So, inshallah, for brothers and sisters who missed part of this episode.
Inshallah. And Hoblos, I believe you got an announcement.
Yes. Well, actually, there was a couple of things, Rami, but
you got interrupted.
But I can see the look in your eyes. One of the things I wanted to mention was that, inshallah, for all of those first-time listeners, for all of those people who have tuned in for the first time, inshallah, this is just a reminder that this program, the Deen team, is on every single Friday at 9 o'clock. So please do join us, inshallah. So that's, inshallah, every single Friday at 9 o'clock. The boys will be here. The whole team will be here, inshallah.
Except
for, and this is the farewell, the wada'.
Hang on, it's only 3 weeks. Get over it.
Still, you never know what can happen in 3 weeks.
Inshallah, I'm sure.
So inshallah, brother Rami will be leaving us for 3 weeks.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, he will be going overseas. And we just wanted to, sorry, Ustaz Rami. That's Ustaz Rami is
brother
leaving.
sounds like
Doctor.
So inshallah, Ustaz Rami will be leaving us. He will be going overseas. Inshallah, we will be in touch with him, of course. Rami, the best of luck to you and your family. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you, make you victorious over there, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
And make dua for us, especially since you're traveling and you're seeking knowledge, inshallah.
We'll be
and
traveling
that you're an Ustaz.
Naam.
And we're just Tlemis.
So you're traveling as a Ustaz, but inshallah you'll be returning as a Sheikh.
Allah. We'll do one thing at a time. Inshallah, we'll be traveling with
levels.
Sheikh Arif, inshallah, as we've been studying Sharia and Islamic studies at the University of Tripoli, inshallah, in Lebanon. And we'll be meeting up, inshallah, with Sheikh Jamil, like a few of the other Mashaykh, inshallah, just to oversee some of the money distribution to some of the Syrian refugees within the Tripoli region, inshallah, in Lebanon. And we'll be in touch with the Muslim community in Sydney, inshallah, via the various methods and means, inshallah.
Okay. Inshallah ta'ala.
I think as well, we just want to announce that we'll be talking to him while we're over
yes,
there.
of course,
exactly,
of course.
yeah.
There's no way we can have the show without
there's no show without Rami.
Speaking to Rami. But inshallah ta'ala, this is the end of the show. And inshallah, because mashallah, this whole show was this whole show was for the Sheikh, the shaheed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept him. I was hoping, Rami, if we can end it with the last note that he posted for his wife. So this was the Facebook this was a Facebook posting that he put on there, and this was again just to highlight, mashallah, how powerful and how strong this character was in his life. And Mr. Adra, please, if you can, inshallah, end the show with this.
Inshallah. So this is the post from the shaheed Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub. He writes, Wallahi, if there is anyone I would like to describe as a warrior and a hero, it will be my wife, Ammar. She made the great sacrifice of sending her husband across the oceans and lands. She gave up her comfort of being close to her husband for the sake of benefiting people she never met. She carried the risk of never seeing her husband again in this world, and carried the heavy load of looking after our 3 children alone, and never complained. Wallahi, when she found out I'm traveling far away, she didn't complain once. Rather, she only said, I hope to be with you in Jannah if we don't meet again in this world. And she said to me, don't worry about my children. I thank her for everything, and I thank Allah from the bottom of my heart for blessing me with her, and I ask Allah to reward her immensely for being the best friend I can ever have. Wallahi, I would never think of having any other wife second to her, because she's all I ask. For let this be a lesson to our brothers and sisters. Be like Khadija was to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam during the calamities. Be like Salama, who advised the Prophet. These were his wives and who were his examples.
SubhanAllah, wallahi. Although we didn't actually know the Shaykh on a personal level, or deeply enough, wallahi, just these words from him to his wife. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward her for her patience, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite her with him in Jannat al-Firdaus. Allahumma ameen.
Brother Rami, it's been an emotional night.
Wallah, subhanAllah, has. And Sheikh Fidat Majzoub, Jazallah Khair, said something very important. So did Brother Muhammad Zod. SubhanAllah, Brother Muhammad Zod from Turkey, Sheikh Fidat Majzoub from Syria, and from memory, Brother Samir Deen also said this as well, connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and dua. And this is what we'll be finishing off the program with, inshallah. And with us on the line is one of Sydney's most eloquent du'at. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from him. And wallahi, it is a pleasure and an honor to have Sheikh Anas Burhan with us tonight. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
أهلا وعليكم السلام والإكرام. أهلا بالحبيب.
الله يكرمك. أنت الحبيب. الله يكرمك.
بارك الله فيكم جميعا.
الله يجزيك كل خير شيخنا. And يا عفوا حابين نسمع منك دعاء إن شاء الله لنا للشهيد رحمه الله، ولأهل الشهيد، ولإخواننا في سوريا، وإخواننا في بورما، وفي كل أنحاء الأرض بعد إذنك.
نسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يفرج عنهم جميعا
إن شاء الله.
ونسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يجمعنا دائما على خير وعلى طاعة الله، وأن يفرقنا على طاعته، وأن يحشرنا مع الأخيار، إنه على كل شيء قدير. والله يا أخ رامي، يعني ماذا أقول والآن أشاهد التلفاز والأطفال يعني أمر محزن جدا. والله إن القلب لا يحزن وإن العين تدمع، وإن على فراق أخينا وحبيبنا الشيخ مصطفى لمحزون، ولكن هذا قضاء الله وقدره، فلله ما أخذ وله ما أعطى، وكل شيء عنده بأجل مسمى.
صحيح صحيح.
فلنصبر وأن نحتسب جميعا،
نعم.
ولا نقول إلا ما يرضي الله. إنا لله وإنا إليه لراجعون.
جزاكم الله خير.
نسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن لا يحرمنا أجره، وأن لا يفتنا بعده، وأن يكرمنا بهذا المقام العظيم، مقام الشهادة. معلش أخ رامي، الله يرضى عليك، أنا أحب أن أنصح نفسي وأنوه للمستمعين الأحباب والحاضرين. أمر عظيم.
نعم.
مقام الشهادة هذا مقام الأخيار، وهذا خطاب لكل من لمن اشتاقت قلوبكم أيها الإخوة الذين اشتاقت قلوبكم إلى هذا المقام، وكلنا يشتاق إلى هذا المقام. هذا المقام مقام عظيم، وهو يعني مقام الأخيار والمصطفون، اصطفاه الله تبارك وتعالى بفضله لمن يشاء. يقول سبحانه وتعالى: وليعلم الله الذين آمنوا ويتخذ منكم شهداء.
نعم.
والله لا يحب الظالمين. ولكن يا أخي يا حبيبي، أن لنا أن نصل إلى هذا المقام وأرواحنا ميتة.
نعم.
فنحن الذين ظلمنا أنفسنا.
نعم.
وما ظلمناهم ولكن كانوا أنفسهم يظلمون. نحن الذين ظلمنا أنفسنا عندما ملأنا هذه القلوب بالحقد والحسد والغيرة وعدم الأدب مع الآخرين وحب الدنيا. ونحن نعلم أن هذه الدنيا لا تسوي عند الله جناح بعوضة. أيها الإخوة، والله إن سر السعادة الذي يدخل إلى القلوب إنما يكمن بسعادة هذه الأرواح التي أسكن الله أجسادنا. فإذا أنعشنا هذه الروح، والروح تتغذى إخواني، كل شيء يتغذى، الحجر، كل شيء يتغذى على شيء، وهذه الروح لا تتغذى إلا على ذكر الله. فإذا أنعشنا هذه الروح بذكر الله أكرمنا سبحانه وتعالى بنشوة السعادة والقرب منه، وأكرمنا بالرضا عنه.
نعم.
وعندئذ يا أخ رامي،
نعم.
عندئذ يسهل عليك أن تقدم روحك ومالك وأولادك وكل شيء في سبيل الله.
نعم. بعد إذنك شيخ، بس نترجمها للشباب قبل الدعاء. الله يجزيك الخير. إخواني، الشيخ جزاه الله خير يعني wanted to pass a very very strong and a very important message that we need to reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're the ones who actually are missing out and that are being deprived by not connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by not returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by not worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by having enmity, hatred, all the problems that we have attracted to ourselves. Brothers and sisters, it is time to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is time to jump over that hurdle that's between you and your Creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our repentance to Him in this night and in every single night that we repent to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, the Shaykh is going to share with us a beautiful dua, inshallah, for us and for the rest of the world. تفضل شيخنا.
إخواني الأحباب، هذا الكلام الذي تكلمنا عنه هذا كله يتجلى في حديث يعني هيك رائع جدا، بقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: ألا أخبركم بخير أعمالكم وأزكاها عند مليككم وأرفعها في درجاتكم وخير لكم من إنفاق الذهب والفضة وخير لكم من أن تلقوا عدوكم فتضربوا أعناقهم ويضربوا أعناقكم، أي خير لكم من الجهاد. قالوا: بلى يا رسول الله. قال: ذكر الله. نسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يجعلنا من الذاكرين، وأن يطهر قلوبنا من النفاق والحقد والغيرة والحسد، وأن يكرمنا بهذا المقام العظيم.
آمين.
وأن يجمعنا بالأنبياء والشهداء والصالحين.
آمين.
وحسن أولئك رفيقا.
آمين.
وأجمعنا بأحبابنا وبأخينا الحبيب مصطفى في الفردوس الأعلى.
اللهم آمين.
ونسأل الله ادعو لأهله أن يصبرهم وأن يكرمهم بالصبر والاحتساب، أن يجمعهم به وأن يجتمع بزوجته بالفردوس الأعلى، إنه على كل شيء قدير.
آمين.
اللهم يا أرحم الراحمين،
يا الله،
يا أرحم الراحمين، يا أرحم الراحمين، يا الله. اللهم اغفر له وارحمه، آمين، وعافه واعف عنه، آمين، وأكرم نزله، آمين، ووسع مدخله، آمين. اللهم اغسله بالماء والثلج والبرد، آمين، ونقه من الذنوب والخطايا، آمين، كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس، آمين. اللهم أبدله دارا خيرا من داره، آمين، وأهلا خيرا من أهله، آمين، وإخوانا خيرا من إخوانه، آمين. اللهم إن كان محسنا فزد في حسناته، آمين. إن كان مسيئا فتجاوز اللهم عن سيئاته، آمين. اللهم أكرمه بالجنة، آمين. اللهم أكرمه بالفردوس الأعلى، آمين. اللهم أكرمه بالفردوس الأعلى، آمين. اللهم وأعذه من فتنة القبر وعذاب النار، آمين. اللهم واحشره مع النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين، وحسن أولئك رفيقا، وحسن أولئك رفيقا. اللهم يا غفور يا ودود يا أنيس الذاكرين يا ملاذ الخائفين يا حبيب التائبين، نسألك باسمك الأعظم الذي إذا دعيت به أجبت وإذا سئلت به أعطيت، أن تعفو عنا، أن تعفو عنا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم تب علينا حتى نتوب، آمين. اللهم تب علينا حتى نتوب، آمين. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا، آمين. وتب علينا يا أرحم الراحمين، يا الله. اللهم يا فارج الهم يا كاشف الغم يا مجيب دعوة المضطرين، كن مع أهلنا وإخواننا وأحبابنا في سوريا، آمين. وفي كل مكان. اللهم كلهم إخواننا، آمين. وكلهم أحبابنا. اللهم فرج عنهم ونفس كروبهم واقضي حوائجهم واشف مرضاهم وعافي مبتلاهم، آمين. وارحم موتاهم، آمين. وتقبل شهداءهم يا حنون يا أرحم الراحمين، يا الله. اللهم احفظهم في بيوتهم، آمين. واحفظهم في أعراضهم واحفظهم في مساجدهم، آمين. يا أكرم الأكرمين، فأنت أكرم الأكرمين، يا الله. اللهم يا أكرم الأكرمين، يا الله. يا غفور يا رحيم. اللهم قد طال أمد الظالمين وتآمر علينا الطغاة والمنافقين، آمين. وما لنا رب سواك، تبرأنا من حولنا وقوتنا والتجأنا إليك يا أرحم الراحمين، يا الله. فيا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين، يا الله. يا قدير يا عزيز يا شديد البطش يا قهار يا جبار، اللهم اجعل كيد من كادنا في نحره، آمين. ومكر من مكر بنا عائدا عليه، آمين. وحفرة من حفرنا واقعا فيها، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين، بعزتك وقدرتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم عليك بالطغاة والظالمين، آمين. اللهم عليك بهذا النظام الفاسد الفاجر، اللهم عليك بالعصابة الأسدية، آمين. اللهم فرق جمعهم، آمين. وأقلل عددهم، آمين. ومزق شملهم، آمين. برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين، اللهم اجعل الدائرة عليهم، اللهم أوصل العذاب إليهم، اللهم لا ترفع لهم راية واجعلهم للعالمين آية، واشف صدور قوم مؤمنين، آمين. اللهم اشف صدورنا، آمين. اللهم اشف صدورنا، واشف صدور الأمهات، واشف صدور الزوجات، آمين. واشف صدور الآباء والأمهات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين، إنك على كل شيء قدير، إنك على كل شيء قدير. وصلي وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. بارك الله فيك يا شيخ رامي وبالحاضرين والمستمعين، ونسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يبلغنا هذا المقام. ولكن قلنا يا إخوان لابد أن نجهز أنفسنا من الآن. فرب العالمين لا تفكروا أنه الأمر يتعلق ببشار وغير بشار، رب العالمين يهيئ الأمة لأمر عظيم، يهيئ لأمر عظيم. لذلك لا بد لنا أن نتهيأ وأن نهيئ قلوبنا بهذا الأمر، حتى إذا نادى المنادي نكون إن شاء الله جاهزين
إن شاء الله. جزاكم الله خير الشيخ أنس، ونسأل الله عز وجل أن يتقبل دعائك، ونسأل الله عز وجل بأن لا يحرمنا من سماع صوتك إن شاء الله في المستقبل، ويثبتك ويثبت إخواننا في سوريا وكل أنحاء الأرض. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from Sheikh Anas, and wallahi it is a pleasure to have Sheikh Anas with us, and we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving community gems like Sheikh Sheikh Anas, like the brother Muhammad, like Sheikh Fida, like Sheikh Mustafa rahimahullah. They're gems in our community that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase them and to unite them and to always allow us to benefit from their beauty and their shyness. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen our community, to make us steadfast, to allow us to portray our message to the true message of Islam, inshallah, to the Australian public and to the Muslim community, maybe in Australia, Sydney, Australia, or worldwide, inshallah. And Ikhwani, Jazakumullah khair. It's been a very long night. I want to thank every single brother and sister who has called up, donated, participated. I really want to thank Brother Salim, Jazakallah khair, for taking all the calls and the heat of the program. Jazakallah khair, Brother Muhammad Hublos, who you're the show. Brother Abdul Hamid and Brother Mazen and Jazakallah khair, Brother Samir Dandan, who made time out of his extremely busy schedule to join us tonight, inshallah, to share these special moments where the community gets together and got together, inshallah, to remember one of the most special members of its community, Sheikh Mustafa Majzoub. He may have passed away as a martyr, but he will never be forgotten. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one that took him away from us, to allow us to unite with him in Jannatul Firdaus. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us steadfast. And inshallah, brothers and sisters, join the brothers next week, inshallah, same time, 9 o'clock, for another show of the Deen Show. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.